welcome to America's favorite show, well, at least not yet, The Sports Box, where the only opinion that matters... I actually moved the camera.
You moved the camera.
It's right here. I am Mike Galetta, getting to adjust the camera.
Jeez.
Along with my partner, Brian, the Ranger at Tars, bringing you
I'm still here.
another solid special that you'll just write home about. Today we're going to talk about how to beat the Birds, our weekly special, and today it's Giants Week. That's right, it's Giants Week. Today we have a special guest on the show, first-timer, big Giants fan. Let's bring him on the show and talk to him. Tony Tannucelli. Tony, are you there?
Yes, I am. How are you guys?
Attaboy. Great, Tony. Let's talk a little Giants, okay? Brian, you want to stat him a little bit? Give him some rundown.
So this is a big game in the NFC East. Both the Giants and the Eagles are 4-3. The Eagles right now are 0-2 in the division, so it's a game that they really do need to win to kind of get in the win column there. Statistically, the Giants have the worst rushing attack in the NFL, 32nd ranked in yards per game, but they're top 10 in passing. They're actually 6th in that metric there. They're probably a little bit better defensively than you'd want to think they are. They're actually 12th in the league in yards against, and they are better at blocking the run than they are at the pass, which is going to be kind of an interesting dichotomy in this game. So, Tony, it's the first game the Giants have against the Eagles this year. So far, they're 1-1 in the division. They've relied on Eli quite a bit in the passing game. Obviously, Odell Beckham, is the straw that stirs the drink. What do you think the Giants have to really focus on here to come up on top against the Eagles?
Well, listen, there's a couple things. I think offensively, like you mentioned, the Giants' rushing attack has been absolutely brutal this year. The offensive line is the same as last year, and at the end of the year, if you guys recall, the Giants decided to scrap the running back by committee and give the ball to Jennings the last few weeks, and he really performed well, and it seemed that they were going to do that this year. Jennings got banged up, and, there's just nowhere to run. And if you watch these Giant games, the Giants, it seems that they like to set up the run with the pass. And you know what? The Giants try to spread you out and then try to make some rushing plays off that, and it hasn't worked. And I think what they've done the last few weeks is try to get those little screen passes out to the running backs to, act as a running play. The Giants really missed Vereen, since he went down. He was great at that. And I think what the Giants really need to do is try to get this rookie Perkins, a few more touches and see what he can do, because they cannot rely on the pass totally, because what you're seeing is a lot of these teams don't respect the running game, so they're not stacking the box, and they're playing some extra safeties back, and the Giants aren't getting many downfield passes. A lot of Beckham's plays are short curls and slants, and same with Cruz, and the Giants haven't been able to get the ball downfield quickly. So they got to find a way to, utilize these running backs a little more.
Yeah, and Tony, offensively, like you said, the Giants have had their struggles. If you look at their lineup on paper, they're pretty well off of receiver. You got Victor Cruz, you got Shepard, the rookie, playing well. You got obviously Odell Beckham. Running back situation has been a little bit back and forth with Rashard Jennings and Darkwa. Do you see they have to obviously get the running game going to set up the pass a little bit more, or can they survive on just throwing the ball downfield and beating that secondary that the Eagles had that's been suspect?
You know what? I think the Giants have an opportunity this week to throw the ball based off the Eagles secondary, but the thing is, it depends on how the Eagles are going to play it. If they're going to, if they're not going to crowd the box and shut the running game off, the pass rush, seems to be pretty good. If Eli's got time to throw, he's going to find these guys. But, Eli can't throw the ball 40 times a game. The Giants aren't going to win that way. They've got to establish the run. You look at the last 4 games, I think 70 yards around there has been their high water mark the last 4 games, and that's not going to cut it. They really got to find a way. You mentioned the guy there, Darkwa, who I particularly like because the guy runs hard.
Yeah.
I think he's the guy that, with the offensive line struggling with the run blocking. Listen, they're pretty good in the pass blocking, but, they've got to establish some run game. They really do. That's a real key. look at the Giants' tight ends are awful. They cannot block. They cannot catch. They don't get down the field. I mean, Will Tye's pretty good, but this, Larry Donnell is, listen, I'm a big Giant fan. He's awful. I mean, this guy, I do not know how he keeps, getting reps and keeps getting game action because, even if he catches the ball, he fumbles it. Or, in the game against the, I guess it was the Ravens, Giants had like 3rd and 7 coming down the end of the game, and he tiptoed out of bounds 1 yard short of the first down on 3rd down. I mean, the guy's just a blockhead.
Now, Tony, on that, let me ask you one more question off the offense. Now, if you're the defense of the Giants, who are you looking to really key on if you're they have the Eagles coming at you? You have, Jordan Matthews, Zach Ertz, who really hasn't done that much yet. The Walt Whitman speeder, Josh Huff. Oh, I'm sorry, he was released today, so you don't have to worry about him. But I mean, who do you on this team, on the Eagles team, do you key on today that you say it could be a viable threat to hurt the Giants?
Listen, I think that the biggest problem the Giants defense has definitely improved over last year. The Giants miss having these 2 safeties. Collins is playing great at safety, but they've had Bear and Thompson, the rookie, both out for weeks. I think Bear's going to be back this week. The safety play with that kid Adams has been awful, and he's been getting burned, and guys have been using the middle of the field on him. The Giants have trouble with the tight ends. The corners have been playing well. I don't know if the Eagles are going to be able to beat them deep. I think the key for the Giants really is to get pressure on Wentz. The Giants aren't getting a lot of sacks, but they are getting to the quarterback, and it's gotten better the last few weeks.
Yep.
The Giants do not get pressure on him. It's going to be a long day, I think, because Wentz I think he's looked pretty good. But, Spagnuolo usually can dial something up with these rookie quarterbacks and throw something at him maybe he hasn't seen. But Vernon and Pierre-Paul got to get to the quarterback.
And, Tony, I think something that plays into the Giants' hands here is that, we talked about how they're a little bit better against the rush than the pass defensively. They're 22nd in the league in the amount of yards they allow through the air every game, but the Eagles are only 29th offensively in passing yards per game, and part of that may be the way they're approaching the offense with a guy like Carson Wentz, is they're doing a lot of dink and dunk, not really going downfield, and you hear a lot of the Eagles fans talk about there's a lot of drop passes and things of that nature. But what may hurt the Giants, again, and we talked about their reliance on the pass, is the Eagles are actually top 5 in passing yards. So I think it's strength versus strength in that way. I guess, what is your biggest concern offensively, being that the team is so reliant on the pass, yet they're coming up against a defense that excels more against the pass than the run?
You mean my biggest concern for the Giants offense?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Listen, a couple of these games, the last few games, the Giants have had, and again, it goes back to the running game, the time of possession. Giants haven't controlled the ball. Some of these drives they've hit, a couple of big plays where, Beckham's gotten down the field, the Raven game, the Saints game, and the Giants just do not, they don't control the clock. I mean, the biggest concern to me, listen, a lot of these Eagle-Giant games are close games, and I don't expect anything less on Sunday. And the problem I can see is, say the Giants are up 20-17 with 5 minutes to go, and they got the ball in their own 20. I have zero confidence that the Giants can run the clock out.
Sure.
Yeah.
I can see them grabbing a first down or two and then punting, and the Eagles getting the ball back with, 2.5 minutes to go and coming down and either kicking a tying field goal or going ahead. That's my biggest concern with the Giant offense. We cannot sustain drives.
He obviously didn't see Doug Peterson last week. And then he says, Tony, the last thing for me is on the offensive side of the ball. We've seen in the past Eli. Yeah, he does have 2 Super Bowls, MVPs like that. But I think you could agree when Eli's bad, he's bad, and when he's running on, he's spot on, one of the best in the league. What do you think in the way of the passing for Eli? Does he have to stretch the field a lot and get the ball downfield, or can he survive against this Eagles team? Again, they have problems in the secondary with the slants and then the out patterns and the stuff to that effect.
Yeah, the Giants do have to stretch the field. I mean, just this year, even the plays that Beckham's broke, you know, they were slant, even that play, the touchdown against the Ravens to win the game, you know, that was a 15-yard slant play that he broke it. The Giants haven't been successful with long pass plays down the field. They need to do that. And I think, like, going back to what you said about Eli, you know, when he's bad, he's bad. I think if everything's dink and dunk, you know, he's bound to throw an interception. You know, he's going to miss something, you know, tip ball, you know, off somebody's hands, you know, and it's going to go the other way. I mean, that I could see happening easily, especially against the Eagles because, you know, Giant Eagle games, there's always some kind of freak play going on somewhere in that game. But, yeah, the Giants do got to get the ball down the field. I mean, you know, I think the one thing that I think Giant fans are looking forward to see was the rookie Shepard. You know, he looked really good in the summer. Yeah. And he started out the season, first couple games, he was productive, had a couple of touchdowns, but the last 3 or 4 games, he really hasn't done too much. And he's got speed, and I think they got to look to him maybe downfield Sunday, try to stretch it out a little bit.
I guess our last question for you, Tony, I'm going to put you on the spot here. We ask every week, will the New York Giants at home beat the Birds and take the second place in the NFC East?
You know what? Listen, the Eagles, you know, had a rough couple of weeks. I mean, they surprised me beating the Vikings a few weeks ago. You know, I like to say this year, looking at the schedule, Giants and Eagles are pretty evenly matched, maybe split the series. And, you know, we always have a tough time down in Philly, but, you know, lately we've had a tough time here. I think I saw this week we've lost like 12 out of the last 16 games of the Eagles. You know, again, I think this is going to be a close game. I think whoever wins the turnover battle is going to win it. You know, Giants are favored by a field goal, and I think that's probably what they win by. I think it'll be a close game. Could go either way, but I'm going to say, you know, 24-21 Giants.
Got to watch those kick returns.
Yeah. They're very fast. Although he might have some weed on them. So.
Jeez.
We don't have hot point tip balls either. But that's all we have from the Sports Box today. We want to thank Tony Tannucelli for coming on in such short notice. Tony, we really appreciate it talking Giants with us. We lost Tony.
We got him right on time.
Yeah, Tony, we want to thank you again if you're watching the show. But that's all the time we have for How to Beat the Birds. Keep an eye out. We got some good stuff coming.
And, of course, find that good stuff at Sportsbox Show on Twitter. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube. Of course, we're everywhere. Make sure you're finding us.
That's right. At the Sportsbox, remember, and we'll tell Tony when he calls back. At Sportsbox, the only opinion that matters. Still right here. Thanks for watching, folks. See you.
Don't forget to subscribe.